it's that time again. It is finally time for Diary of a Physicist Farmgal, and this is episode number 61 because I remembered to check today before I started. My name is Deborah, and I'm coming to you from here on my family farm in the foothills of the Arkansas Ozarks, where I like to do all the crafts. I knit, I crochet, I sew, I quilt, I make baskets, I make jewelry. I'll try any craft once and twice if I like it. I am also a professor. I'm a university professor where I teach courses in astrophysics and physics, meteorology, and general education, physical science. And I'm also a docent at our planetarium, and I volunteer at events for women in STEM. Last but not least, I am a farmer. I'm a third-generation family farmer where I raise grass-fed beef cattle. Hey everybody, it's that time again. It is finally time for Diary of a Physicist Farmgal, and this is episode number 61 because I actually remembered to check today before I started. So yay me. My name is Deborah, and I'm coming to you from here on my family farm in the foothills of the Arkansas Ozarks, where I like to do all the crafts. I knit, I crochet, I sew, I quilt, I make baskets, I make jewelry. I'll try any craft once and twice if I like it. So I am also a professor of physics and astronomy at a local university where I teach courses to physics majors, to pre-med, pre-PT majors, and general education physical science classes, which is just getting ready to start tomorrow for our summer intersession term. I am also a docent at our planetarium, and I'm very active in our programs for diversity inclusion and women in STEM on campus. And last but certainly not least, I am a third-generation family farmer. I live on this farm here in the foothills of the Ozarks where I raise grass-fed beef cattle. I raise horses. I have a flock of heritage poultry. I have show rabbits. And I am a retirement home to miniature horses, miniature donkeys, a miniature mule named Pumpkin who thinks she rules the roost, and Princess Penny, the potbelly pig, protector of the poultry. And as you can tell from my sweet co-host Willie here, I am fur kid mom to 13 dogs, 8 indoor cats, and an undetermined number of outside barn cats. So if any of all of that sounds interesting to you, come on along as we do episode number 61. I remembered 61 of Diary of a Physicist Farmgal. Okay, if you're looking for us on social media, you can find me on Instagram and on Ravelry as Doc Firewoman. You can also find the Farm Facebook page, which is the same as the YouTube channel name, which is Buckthorn Farms, where I post farm-related pictures, I post articles, I sometimes write blog posts, all kinds of stuff like that. There is also a Ravelry group for the podcast, Diary of a Physicist Farmgal, where you can find out about Makealongs and giveaways and stuff like that. And I have some giveaway winners to announce, so stay tuned for that. And you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter as Doc Firewoman. But I am a fairly socially liberal Democrat, and I am a scientist. And right now, Twitter is where I go to town with my political stuff. I keep that stuff to a dull roar other places. But right now I'm having a hard time doing that even on Facebook because science is a thing, and there is a thing called the scientific method that we have to follow. So anyway, you might not want to follow me on Twitter if that kind of stuff gives you indigestion. But at any rate, so we do have a lot of Makealongs going on in my group and also a giveaway. So let's talk about the giveaway first. So let me pull it up here real quick. And Wally is in here with me today too. So he's popping up every few minutes wanting some attention here. So on the Ravelry group, let me try that again. No, honey, I don't need you to help me type. Don't do that. Okay. On the Ravelry group, we had a giveaway. We had a giveaway called The Unicorn of the Sea, where you were supposed to write a little story that told us how narwhals and unicorns maybe were relatives of each other. Okay, so we had 2 entries, and they were both really good, so it was hard to choose. So I decided, since Tyra, Raven Diva, and then Jessica, Army Wife Knitting Live from the Two Sticks and String podcast, had offered to donate. Tyra's donating a beautiful skein of yarn, and Jessica's donating a pattern. I have some yarn, and I'm going to donate a pattern. And I decided I would flip a coin, and the person that won the toss would win Tyra and Jessica's prize package, and then the other person would get my prize package. So in the coin toss, we had Knit 1, Pug 2. So Krista, your story about the narwhal and the lovely picture that you drew of how the narwhal turns the pages with its horn are the first, or won the coin toss. So I will get if you'll send me your information, I will get it to Tyra and Jessica for you to be able to choose a pattern, or however they decide. I don't know how they're going to do it, but y'all can get together and decide that, and then Tyra will send you the yarn. And our other entry who wins my prize package was, even though she had a struggle getting her story posted, it was very good, and it was very detailed and excellent. And Miss Shirley Knits 123, you win my prize package. So I have some yarn I will send to you, and I will also purchase you a pattern, and I might put some peanut patties in that package too, since I know you like them. The line that always sticks out to me from your story is the apple Twizzler green grass. Okay, so I appreciate y'all so much for participating. It was just a little fun thing that we thought we would do, since everybody's needing kind of a pick-me-up lately with all that's going on in the world. So I thought that I would announce those winners today. So yay. Now I'm going to announce a new giveaway, because if you remember, in July we're going to start the Blizzard in July with the NicNac Knits podcast. Nikki and Heather and I are going to be co-hosting the Blizzard in July, where we're going to make some snowflakes. So I am going to give away a copy of the book of Jessica Wiffall's Snowfall 2019 Snowfall patterns. There are 12 patterns total, 6 paid for and 6 free, and I'm going to give away a copy of that ebook. So I will open a thread for the Snowfall in July, and you can enter on the Ravelry group if you would like to enter, or if you'd like to win that pattern collection. So I'll put a writing prompt or something up there. We'll see how ambitious I get. Okay, so it is a new elephant time. Hopefully y'all have all declared your new elephants for How Do You Eat an Elephant, the Makealong edition. So it is time to declare a new elephant, or you can stick with the elephant that you've got. We've had a lot of activity in the Bust a Move Stash Down chatter thread, so I'm going to draw a prize from that on the 15th. We also have the creature feature. This is the quarantine quarter. So April, May, June, make what makes you happy. Make what makes you happy. I am still working on my dragon. I haven't worked on it since the last podcast, which has been almost, it seems like a month ago. But anyway, I will work on it. I get to working on something, and I focus on that, and I've got a biggie to show you. It's not quite finished, but boy, it's getting close. Practical Magic Mail is the things that you make that are household items, or anything that have a practical use. Then we have the How Do You Eat an Elephant, which I already mentioned. We have the Science Sprinkles one. Now, I did not put up a post for April. I got behind, and then nobody had posted anything in the March thread. So I thought, well, I'm just going to take a break and see if there's any interest. So I talked to some people, and they were really interested. So I will put up a post for May, and you can enter in that. Then we also have the String Along year-long make-along, where we are using crochet thread or floss, things of that nature. And so you can go in there and make doilies, or you can make snowflakes, or whatever. And then we have good old Kit or Get Her Done. Kit or Get Her Done is the ones where those of us who have a little addiction to kits, we make things up out of our kits, and we get those marked off as we buy more kits and bring them in. So there's quite a few different make-alongs. You can go over there and join in. So I will put up a post about the Jessica Wiffall's Snowfall giveaway, and that you can go over there and join that, and I will draw for that on June 1st. So you have from now, which is May the 10th, as I'm recording this, until June 1st to enter that prize drawing for that. Okay, so that's all of our make-alongs this time and our giveaways. So we're going to move on now, and we're going to talk about finished objects. Okay. Okay, my two finished objects, or quasi-finished objects, are both stitching related this time, because my yarny projects that I'm working on are big, and they are probably, they're both probably about 75% of the way done, or 66% of the way done. but they're not done yet. So I've been working on those, and I've also been doing a lot of stuff around the farm and in the house too. But so I finished my stitch for April's Animal Almanac. So this is Posy the bunny. Finished her. This is Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery's Animal Almanac Stitch Along. So I got that finished. That is in one of Charlotte's stitching bags, April 9 Design stitching bags here. She chooses the most adorable little fabrics. I just loved this one, some little woodland creatures. So that is April's Stitch Along. They've already released May, excuse me, because it's already May 10th. I haven't started on it yet. It is Hugo the Hippo. So that will be my next piece of this little puzzle here. Then the other finished object that I have to show is I finished stitching on one of the pillowcases. So I have completed the stitch work on the Magnolia pillowcase. Now, whoever had this before me picked this pillowcase apart, which I could understand why they did that. This is the one that they had stitched shut, and I had to pick all the stitching out. What I am probably going to do is make a separate pillowcase and put this on it. There's those, what are they called? Super Easy or Secret or Jiffy pillowcases. You can find the link on YouTube, and I'll link it at some point. I'm probably going to use this panel to make the panel on the pillowcase because I don't like how thin these are. But yeah, I finished the stitching on that. That's stamped cross stitch, so you can see it there. I haven't washed it yet, so the blue stitching marks are still there. I may wash it first and see if the stains will come out of it, and then if they do, I might go ahead and just use this pillowcase. But this was stained when I got it, and so I'm not confident that the stains will come out of it. Plus, I just don't like how thin the pillowcase is. I have started the next one, so you'll see it in my works in progress. Now, those are my two finishes. Now I'll show you my works in progress. Okay, so for works in progress, I will show you my stitching stuff first. As I mentioned, I have just barely started the next pillowcase. This is a kit by Bucilla, and it's the Magnolia pillowcases. It's stamped cross stitch, and I got this at a thrift store, but luckily I found the pattern and the picture. So I just barely got started on this last night. I wanted to get started on the second one, though, so I don't end up with half of the pillowcase half stitched, and then it's September and it's time for the fair. Don't want to do that. The other one that I'm working on is in a bag by So Much to Love, which is my doggies bag here. And it is my Scotland bell pull. And I have almost finished the first motif. There's 6 of these motifs down the bell pull. This is a kit from Isle of Skye Crafts that I purchased back in 2002. And so I figured it's probably time to make it. So the needle minder is from Kim's Needle Minders. And then this is just a kit that I purchased. They still have this kit, though. If you find Isle of Skye Crafts on the internet, they still have this kit available, which is funny. But there's 6 total of these motifs, and then I've got the hardware that I purchased at the same time to make the bell pull. So, slow but steady progress on that. I work on that maybe every 2 weeks or so, instead of, when I just want something little to stitch on. Okay, now, I started the Chinese Zodiac. I don't have a picture printed out of the pattern, so if I remember, I'll insert a picture here of the initial one. This is also another Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery stitch along. This is in my Ghastly's bag from April 9 Designs. And I just got started on this last night. So we're doing the center motif first. The center motif is first, and then part of the animals of the Zodiac will be on there. I think there's the ox and the tiger, and I can't remember the third one is on there this month. And then the cute little needle minder came from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery also. So this is another stitch along that started on April the 15th, so I'm just getting started with it. I just started that last night about 10 o'clock, so I'm just barely getting started. I was asking Jules from the Moonshine Crafter podcast about what Mania was. It's a stitching thing, And she's like, oh, it's just a way for you to work on different stuff all month. And I'm like, well, I've got a whole bunch of stuff kitted up and ready to go. So maybe I'll start doing that. But then I'm like, no, you have some other things you need to finish first. It's always so tempting. You want to start new stuff, don't you? Okay. So, now, my yarny ones, or my fiber ones, I should say, they're not yarn specifically. I'm not going to show you all the strips, but I have put together all the blocks for my Marine Life blanket into strips. So I have 5 strips of 4 blocks each. I had taken a photograph when I laid them out, and I used this join. It's just slip stitches, this nice flat join on it. And now I've got to start putting the rows together. So I've got 5 rows to put together. I'm not going to show them all to you because they're all basically just the same idea. But I'm going to get those put together, and then I'm going to measure the back for the back. And I'm going to try to find a fleece blanket to put on the back. So it's a continuous piece and I don't have to seam it, because I did not weave my ends in. I just knotted them. That was the recommended way to finish them. If I were to do another corner to corner, which I probably will pretty soon, I will weave in the ends. But by the time I was thinking about doing that, I was over halfway done with the blocks and I was too far gone. So there's another one just to show you an example of I did all the, what I did was I made sure they're all roughly the same size by adding some rounds to some of them. You can see here on the blue whale block, because this was a true scrappy project. I used up scraps that I had and that people gave me. And so the yarns were all different gauges or weights or whatever you want to say. So I had some blocks that were quite a bit smaller than others. So I went around them with double crochet to get them all roughly the same size. For purposes of joining them. So now I've got all my strips done. So now I'm going to sit down and start putting them together and putting the rows together. And then what I'll probably do after I do that is I'll probably go all the way around the outside a couple of times with some double crochet, just to kind of finish it off. And then I've got a skip wheel when I buy my blanket. Then I'll use the skip wheel to cut the holes in the backing, and I will crochet the backing to the front, and hopefully it will lay flat, you know, because I got dinged on my solar system blanket for it not laying flat at the fair, so we got to make sure this one lays flat. Okay. I have worked on my, in my Curvy Witches bag from Tesla Knits, which is covered in cat hair because the cats have been laying on it. I made a little bit of progress on my Valentine's doily. When I showed you this last, I just made all 6 of the hearts. So now I have started joining the hearts. So this is by AnnaMarie Wilkerson. This is just the Valentine heart doily. And I have started joining the hearts together like so. Let's see. I think this is the front. So you join them all together, and then there are some stand-up lace that you go back and put over the top. So, yeah. So this is the join. You go around them with this beautiful motif, and then you join them as you go. So didn't get very far, did I? But progress is progress, no matter how small. Okay. Then I have made some good progress on my Changes shawl. Changes shawl here in my April 9 Designs alpacas bag. The Changes shawl by the Knitting Expat. It's a pattern that's been out since 2018, so it's a couple of years old now, but it's a beautiful shawl, and it looks, let's see, I'll show you that one. Looks like that. And it's made, you start in the center and work one end and then turn and do the other end, and I am on section D finally of the one end, so I am starting the garter section. So I finished section, when I last showed it to you, let me not drop stitches here. I've got all my stitches picked up at least, so at least I know what I'm doing, I hope. I think. Okay. When last I showed it to you, I was down here by the little charm. So I did all of this section, the wrap section. And then you bind that off, and then you pick up the stitches that you had on hold, and you start going this way with this garter section. I've done one repeat of one color. So that's 6 rows, or 12 rows. 12 rows of one color. Okay, so I'm going to switch colors and do, you do it like you do here. You do 3 repeats of the garter section, but it's 2 repeats of the colors. So it'll be like the same idea as this in terms of the color gradient. And then that'll be all of one end, and then you start on the other end and you pick up and do the same thing. But because there was so much work in this center, when I get on this end and I get done, I'm essentially 2/3 of the way done with the shawl. And this section is going much faster than the C section with those wraps. So you can see it there. And I love how those bright colors are playing off that gray. This yarn is all by AnnaMarie NicNacs. The gray, which I've started on my second skein of gray now, is called Steel. And then the other ones are just very bright. It's a very bright mini set that she had that I bought 2 sets of. Okay, so I did make some progress on that. So see, I have been doing stuff, even though I haven't talked to y'all in a while. Okay, so I believe that is all of my works in progress. So we'll come back and talk a little bit about future crafting. Okay, so the 2 future craftings I'm going to show this time are both stitching related, because I still have a pair of socks on the go, and I still have a cowl, the kitty crowd double knitting cowl on the go that I haven't worked on. So, and that Calavera shawl. So I don't need any more fibery things started. But 2 future craftings that I'm going to show. The first one, this is another April 9 Designs bag. This is by Stacy Nash Primitives, and it's from the Animal Crackers set, and it's called Scarlet. Is it Scarlet? Yeah, Scarlet. It's a scissor pocket. It's a little scissor pocket. It's a little Boston Terrier, and then on the back, there's pocket for your scissors. And so I've already got all the stuff ready to go. I purchased this at a Stitcher's Garden, and I've got all the stuff ready to go. I've just got to get started. It's on linen. And then I've got all the flosses, and it is some of the over-dyed floss, so that'll be my first experience using that. So I've got that kitted up and ready to go in one of my bags. And then in another April 9 Designs bag, here, it's called Bear Hug. You can barely see it, but there's little bears on it. This is a pattern I bought a couple of years ago at the Stitcher's Garden, and I finally got the stuff to make it. It is Jeanette Douglas Designs, and it is the Halloween sampler. So I've got all the stuff I need to make that. I finally bought the fabric, and I've got that all kitted up and ready to go too. So see, Mania gives me a perfect reason to start something else, right? So yay. Okay, so right, as I've already mentioned, I've still got a couple of things on the go. I haven't made any progress on my kitty crowd cowl yet, but I also do have, I will show you this. This is I bought this as a kit from Craftsy. It's a knit when Craftsy was still Craftsy and not Blueprint. And it's a sloth. It's a sloth toy. I've never... At that point, I bought it because I was intrigued by making knitted toys. Of course, now I've made Hazel the humpback whale. So, and I've made my donkey here. So, they were both knitted. So, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to make a knitted sloth too. So, that came with the kit of yarn. You could choose your 2 colors. There was a selection that you could choose from. So, I chose the darker brown, kind of a mocha brown, and the cream colored. I think this is called Espresso. And then this one is Ecru. So, yeah. So, I got those kitted up and ready to go in a bag here. So, maybe I'll get started on those soon. I have been doing a lot of things in the house and a lot of things around the farm. So, I haven't done as much crafting. And I still need to I finally got my new sewing machine. I still need to get my sewing machine set up. So, I need to take some time and do that. So my thought is Tuesday it's supposed to rain, like pour all day. We're supposed to get 2 inches of rain on Tuesday. So I need to do some house cleaning. I've been doing like deep cleaning, but my regular house cleaning is kind of falling by the wayside. So I won't be able to work outside and I won't be able to ride. And so I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll clean house and then maybe I'll finally get my sewing machine set up, which would be great. So stay tuned. Maybe have some sewing stuff going pretty soon. Okay, so those are all my future crafting. So now let's talk just a little bit about acquisitions. Okay, so in acquisitions, I just have a couple of things to show you and a couple of gifts. I was very surprised and touched to receive a couple of gifts on the same day, so it was quite a good mail day. The first thing I'll show you is a book that I purchased. I am an avid follower of Nerdy Farmwife on Instagram. She makes a lot of soaps and balms and skin products and home products out of things that you can forage out of your yard, and she has great tips, and I follow her soap making instructions to the letter. It's really good. She has some really good blog posts. Well, she's put out a new book called The Big Book of Homemade Products, and it's for all these things, and it was fairly inexpensive. I want to say it was like $25, and there's well over 100 recipes in here that are very easy to follow. It's full of beautiful pictures, very easy to follow. Every product has a picture. She talks about how to infuse oils. She talks about how to make soaps by different processes. There's a lot of good information in this book. You can follow her on Instagram, or she has a blog also called The Nerdy Farmwife. And she doesn't even know who I am, to be honest, but I love her stuff. And so I'm highly recommend this if you're interested in making homemade things. Right now, my kitchen cabinets or my pantry cabinets, there's a whole shelf of things that are just infusing in oils, getting ready to make soap. And I've been getting in my soap making stuff. Like I've got this big thing of coconut oil that's ethically sourced, and I've got I just got in some soap base, and I've got a container of lye coming because I like to order lye for soap. I mean, yeah, I could go to the hardware store and get it, but I'm weird about, I don't want to go to the hardware store right now, first of all. And second of all, I want the soap making stuff. Somehow in my mind, that's different. I know it's probably not, but it's a mental thing for me. So it's on the way. So we're going to be some soap making up in here about the 1st of June. Another thing that I got, Heather from Handmade by H Designs, and then she's also the NicNac Knits co-host on the podcast. I had ordered some of her beautiful little stitch markers. These are origami stars that she makes. And her Etsy shop is Handmade by H. Y'all don't look at my nails. I got dirt under my nails from working out in the garden. I can't get rid of it. I think it's just integral to my person now. Anyway, she makes these beautiful little origami star stitch markers, and they're very lightweight. And I ordered 3 sets, and she was kind enough to send me a set as a gift. So I'm going to put that aside as a giveaway for you guys. So maybe when I get to 300 followers, I don't know. I'm getting close. I've got 285, I think. So maybe I'll have a 300 subscriber giveaway. I don't know. Or maybe I'll just do a giveaway for funsies. But I'll put one of these in the pot, and that'll be part of the prize. Yay! So something for y'all too. Noelle from Charmed and Dangerous had a fundraising charm not too long ago for the Joyful Child Foundation, because April was Child Abuse Awareness Month. And so she made these beautiful little teddy bear charms as her charity charm. And then you could, when you bought one, the proceeds went to the Joyful Child Foundation. And then she sneakily snuck in my package one of these Galaxy Narwhals. Oops, he's backwards. Look around, dude. There you go. You know, sneaky Noelle. It's kind of hard to tell much about him, but he's beautiful, sparkly purple. I was so surprised when I opened that and saw him. I thought that was so sweet. And I did take a shower. My nails are still dirty. I think, you know, they just need to be, I need a manicure, but I'm not going to go get one right now. I'm just not going to do it. It's not worth my health or anybody else's health. I am practicing social distancing basically through the summer. That's my plan. But anyway, so Noelle Charmed and Dangerous, beautiful little polymer clay charms as always. Then I got a surprise in the mail. My friend Penny, Rocky Mountain Penny, won a giveaway where you got a kit for yourself and you got something to send a friend. And I had wanted this kit for a really long time, and she knew that. So when she won this from Cozy Blue, she was sweet enough to send it to me. It's a moon phase embroidery. Isn't that beautiful? And it came with this beautiful card that she wrote. It's all moon themed, so it's a Luna moth. And then it also came with some stitch marker progress keeper type things that are kitty cats on the moon. So I was so touched to get that in the mail. I was like, what's this? And so, Penny, thank you very much. And I am glad, so glad that you are feeling better. And I know I know you're glad that you are too. Then, when I did the project bag swap this year, I met a wonderful person named Magic Junie Sews, or Junie4B on Instagram, June. And she was doing a giveaway on her page. She said, respond to this picture and I'm going to give away a project bag, because she's a fabulous sewist. Then she said, I'm going to make everybody one. Everybody that responded is going to get a bag. And I was like, wow, good gravy. That was so sweet of her. Well, then I get this huge package in the mail from her. It has this beautiful bag in it. This is the Skinny Laminx bag that she sent me. She said, I bought this and it reminded me of you. And I'm like, cool. It's a great bag. So I was tickled about that. But the fun didn't stop there. Inside, there were more fun things. And what she sent me inside was a cool card from Texas with a sweet note inside of it. And then 2 bags that were very personal to me. So here's the first one. It's a science project bag. Is that not awesome? Science all the time. Then she took scraps and made another one. And it's got dogs and cats and science stuff all over it, and beneficial insects and all. Is that not the most amazing bag ever? So she sent me that one too. So I loved that. But then I was like, there's more stuff in here. She sent me these amazing pillowcases. And so she sent me these. She made me these pillowcases with the cowgirls on them. And I thought, well, how perfect are those? And this is the pillowcase design that I was talking about going to use. So she sent me a pair of pillowcases as well. So I was very touched to have gotten, I wasn't expecting all of that. I was expecting just a project bag. And I was surprised even that I was proud even to just get that and then to get all of this stuff as well. So thank y'all so much. That was so sweet of y'all to think of me and be so sweet and generous with me. I really am grateful for everyone's friendship that I have made through the community, the crafting community. So, okay, so that is all of the acquisitions. So that's all the crafty stuff. So if you're just here for that, I'll see y'all soon. And if not, we're going to move on and talk about some science. Okay, well, what's going on in the science part of my world? The semester ended strangely, as y'all can imagine. We didn't have any of the normal things that I look forward to at the end of the semester. We tried to do an online senior breakfast, and it didn't go very well. Mostly it was the faculty members, and it kind of turned into a faculty meeting. And I'm like, y'all, this is not about us. But, whatever. It just kind of ended. And I felt really bad because, Luke had worked so hard, and they did their senior lab presentations, which were great, and got to see those, but it just kind of ended, and I hated it because I just felt like I never realized how attached to my students I am until this has happened. Teaching these summer classes, which I know are going to be online, is one thing, because my mind has already accepted the fact that it's going to be online. But having students that I'm really invested in, especially when I know some of them are kind of struggling, to be separated from them was very hard. But we managed, we got through. And I had several of them contact me and thank me, for running the class and keeping them informed. And everything. So, yeah. Intercession starts tomorrow. I spent yesterday and today updating everything in my 3-week intercession class. And I've decided, because I know a lot of the people who take that class are people who are like employees of the school, and they may have families and stuff. And I know that the kids are all at home right now. And so the parents are having to worry about their schoolwork as well as their own stuff, the kids' schoolwork as well as their own, because the public schools technically are still going on. I decided, instead of having weekly deadlines, I'm just going to make everything due at the end. Everything's going to be due at the end. And I told them, I said, if you wait till the very end to start this, you're going to be really unhappy. So hopefully they'll work on it as they go, but we'll see how that works out. And then I have a 5-week summer class in this first summer term, and then I'll be done for the summer. By the time this goes out, I think people will know, so I think I can already say it. Mystic South has been canceled for this year, so I will not be doing my presentation in July. And frankly, I'm kind of glad, because I was getting a little bit of anxiety about having to go to it. Because, believe whatever you want to believe about stuff, but I honestly think we're not done with this COVID-19 situation. And like I said, I'm planning on practicing social distancing through most of the summer. Right now, we are scheduled to go back on August 20th, back to normal operations. But of course, they will monitor the system or the situation and make changes as necessary. Had some good students though this semester. I'm very thankful that I got to know some new ones, and got to see some things, see them make some big progress on things. So I was very, very happy about that. So that was good. Now, other than that, what's going on outside of there is not a lot, because there's no, star programs at the lake. There's no planetarium shows going on right now. Mostly I have just been trying to educate people as to how science works. The scientific method requires that results be reproducible. Okay. So if someone claims a result, then other independent scientists need to be able to reproduce that result, or it's not science, right? If someone can't reproduce your results, that either means, because in the world of science, yes, there are proprietary things, and they embargo stuff sometimes, that they don't release results. But then when someone makes a claim in the scientific community, one of the things that has to happen is people have to try to reproduce their results. And if you are given all of the information you need to reproduce the results and you can't reproduce the results, that means there was either a mistake or there was a falsification of information. And that's all I'm going to say. Because it's either stop there, or it's go on a 1-hour tirade about bad science and how I am blocking people left, right, and center for sending me things about, well, you should consider this. And I'm like, no, that's bad science. I don't need to consider that. No. So we're not going to go down that rabbit hole today. Be discerning in who you get your scientific information from. Any person can use YouTube as a pulpit, clearly, because I'm here. Any person can use YouTube as a pulpit. That doesn't mean that what they're having to say is correct or valid or even relevant to the situation. So just be discerning. Understand how science works and ask yourself, is this good science? Okay? All right. But on a lighter note, I have a really cool article to share with you. On May the 8th, Astronomy Now announced that the closest stellar-sized black hole ever detected to Earth is discovered. It is in the constellation Telescopum, which I believe is a southern hemisphere constellation. It's 1,000 light years away from the Earth, and it is a triple system. It's a tertiary system. So there's 2 visible objects and 1 not. And they're all orbiting each other. But there is at one point where the 2 stars are eclipsed by this unseen companion. So we are directly viewing, essentially, the black hole for the first time. They think it's about a 4 stellar mass black hole, which fits the math that we understand for black holes. It is the nearest known one to Earth, and it was found by the European Southern Observatory's 2.2 meter telescope in Chile. And it has a period, the orbital period of about 40 days. So they can take a lot of data in that time and measure it. They concluded from the orbital period and from the mass that it needed to have that orbital period that it was a black hole, because if it was a 4 solar mass star, they would have been able to see it. We have found detections of dozens of stellar mass black holes in the Milky Way, but this is by far the closest one. And this one is quiescent. That's what makes it so unusual. It is not actively feeding, so we can't see it through it like an X-ray jet. Oh, excuse you. You all right, Juan? Goodness. You okay? Did that air have bones in it? Okay. That air had bones in it, apparently. So when they're quiescent, that means they're not giving off all of that stuff. So they're harder, that you can't really detect them unless they were in a situation like this. So it's very cool that we have this detection of this star system. The star system's catalog number is HR 6819. Again, it's in the constellation Telescopum. And so it's exciting. This is an exciting discovery, and it's a very new discovery. It's only about 4 days old, or 3 days old as I record this podcast. So it's very exciting to talk about that. So that is your science sprinkle for this time. So now we're going to move on and talk about farm life. Well, farm life has definitely been what's been keeping me busy lately. I showed, if you watched the last episode, which was the farm tour, thank you to everybody who did watch that hour and 45-minute long episode, and you commented. I appreciated your comments so much. It was really wonderful. I've got comments both on there, and then I had some people contact me individually, which was really wonderful. You got a little taste of my farm. I have been busily, as I said, drying stuff. I've been going out and foraging different things that I can use for like skin creams and bug bite stuff and wound heal stuff and soaps and lotions and stuff. Why not? It's there, right? So I've been doing that. I got the chicks moved into their new bigger pen, which was very exciting. A friend of mine and I walked the fence and found the hole where the cows are going through on my neighbor. I did get the hole patch where the ones that were getting out on the road, so they haven't been getting out. But there is a hole on the backside where it's like a gate. They're just going over to my neighbor's turkey houses, and he said they're not bothering anything, but I want to get them stopped. While we were walking the fence, we found tons and tons of muscadine vines. So I dug up a few, and I'm trying to get them to root. The way they run, they go under underground runners. So you've got to make sure you get enough of the roots so that the little piece can survive. I found some Chickasaw plums. So I dug up a couple of those. The littler ones are not doing very well. The bigger one that I dug up seems to be hanging in there. So I may wait until fall when they're dormant and try to dig up a couple more and bring them over. They make a plum. They got a decent sized plum. They're a yellow orange plum. One of the coolest things that we found, and when I was talking in that video about my grandparents living up here as tenant farmers, we were walking along the fence row, and we ran onto a mature maple tree. And you could tell from its canopy, it had been purposely planted when that ground was open, because where the woods are now, most of that was open area where they planted cotton until it starts sloping off to the backside of the mountain. There is this huge mature maple that had to purposely have been planted. It was very tall. It was perfect. And it's the only maple in the woods back there. So that led me to believe that that's probably where their houses were all at. Someone had planted that maple tree back there for shade. And I kind of knew they were in that vicinity. And the reason that they were is there's some springs off the mountain. If you walk off the mountain a little further, there's a couple of places where there's some natural springs and a spring-fed creek. And they probably had a spring house where they kept their butter and milk and things like that to keep it cool. So it was really exciting to find that. It's a beautiful tree. And there's also some really large mature pine trees back there that my dad had intended to let the loggers cut and then didn't do it. And I'm so glad, because I'll never have them cut. They're beautiful. They're about 2 feet in diameter. They're huge. So they're going to stay put. I was really pleased with the fact that the fence is actually in pretty good shape back there. There was one place where I need to put a couple of posts, and then there's that hole. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a livestock panel back there and essentially make a gate, because one of the cows that went over to my neighbor's had a calf while she was over there. And I keep waiting on her to bring it in, and she hasn't done it. It's a week old, a little over a week old now. So hopefully in the next week or so, she'll bring it in and I can run back there and shut the gate and they can't go back over on him. We had almost a frost last night and the night before, which is very unusual for May. So I was out covering up plants and doing all that. But my garden is in. I have to plant my flower seeds still, but the garden is in. All the plants are in. All the seed beds are done. So now I'm just waiting on things to sprout in the seed beds. So far, I have enjoyed having the raised beds because it's a lot easier to weed and keep up. So that hopefully will hold true. I've got a lot of the stuff covered to try to cut down on pests. I did get I made my own insecticidal soap and my own fungicide out of some baking soda. I ordered some organic fungicide because my nectarines were starting to act like they were getting brown spot. And I have sprayed them with the baking soda mixture. And that seems to have stopped it, knock on wood. So we'll see. I have done some preserving. I did red clover jelly, honeysuckle jelly, and something else. What was the third thing? Oh, violet jelly. So violet flowers, I did red clover flowers, and then I did a honeysuckle jelly. And I'm right now on my stove, I am steeping a pot of lemon balm leaves to make lemon balm jelly. I've been using my discard from my sourdough to make crackers. I've been making rye crackers and also sourdough pancakes, which has been really fun. So that's been good. The animals are all seemingly doing quite well. I've been letting the birds out to graze in the yard when I'm outside working, which they seem to enjoy. So everybody seems to be doing great, which has been good. We've been riding. I've been riding 3 days a week at the barn. So I've been going early. We were in small groups, no more than 3 or 4 there at a time. And, we ride. I usually get to ride Flame for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then I help the kids for about an hour. And then we switch and ride. I ride one of Marianne's Foxtrotters that has not been ridden in a while, the second 2-hour slot that I'm there. So I stay for 4 hours usually. But that has been really good. I've enjoyed that tremendously. So that's really exciting. So lots going on here on the farm, getting a lot of stuff done. I had a couple of colleagues from work come out. Lisa, who I got my beautiful, tall, slender purple iris from, she came out. She said, I just need to get out of the house. Can I come swap flowers? Because I wanted some more of her irises. And I said, I had some of my grandmother's. So we swapped flowers and visited for a little bit. And then 2 days later, my friend Sonia brought her 2 little girls out. And they had not been anywhere since this all started. So they got to pet the ponies and see the chickens and all of that. So that was a lot of fun. So that's been really good in that aspect, because I don't think they would have taken the time to come out had we not been forced to slow down. I hate that a lot of things are getting canceled. I saw a post where the horse shows are going to try to do a virtual horse show where you video your ride and send it in. So I'm going to have to read up on that and figure out what I need to do to get that done. So for the May show. And other than that, we've just been plugging along, doing what we got to do. Lots of calves right now. They're looking really good. The ponies are doing good. Penny got to get out on the grass and wander around a little bit. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw that. But everybody seems to be doing pretty well. You know, we've had plenty of rain. We have not been short on rain, which has been good. It has been unseasonably cool here, which is interesting, but it has been good. And I have tried to make use of this time. I still need to get in here and straighten up, which is a whole big project that's like a week of its own projecting. But I've been doing some going through things and straightening up and putting things together where I can find what I'm looking for and so on. So hopefully, you know, I can maintain that. But yeah, things are good. So all is good on the farm. So I guess we'll move on now and finish with a few final thoughts. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. I was struggling with recording because sometimes I don't want to feel like I'm putting trite things out in the world where there is so much more serious things going on. It's 2020, and I honestly cannot rest on the fact that we live in a world where young black men are essentially lynched, where 16-year-old McDonald's workers are shot at because someone is so hateful that they want to eat their chicken McNuggets in the restaurant when these kids have been told, no, we're not letting people in there, and they are shot at. Where, you know, animals are treated abusively, where elderly people are treated abusively, where it seems to be okay to be horrible to people that don't look like you or think like you or act like you. And I was having a really, really, really hard time finding the motivation to record, because I just can't believe that this stuff is still happening. And it guts me when one of my friends, who I'm friends with on Facebook, where she's a farmer also, her husband is African American, and she's like, anytime we have a problem with the car, like I need to get a light fixed, I drive it because I'm afraid for him. That's the world we live in, and that just kills me. And that she has to do that calculus every time her husband goes out the door. And I was really just broken up about this, and about how can I make how can I do this and talk about these things when there's so much more serious stuff to talk about. And I follow Richard Schiff, the actor Richard Schiff, on Twitter. And he has been doing a thing with the West Wing. He played Toby on the West Wing. He's been doing a thing called Watch with Richard, where he's been going through the episodes and commenting on them. And so I follow his Twitter feed, and he posted a poem the other day from Robin Weigert, who was an actress that was in the show Deadwood. It's a friend of his. And she wrote this beautiful poem that I really had to sit with for a couple of days before I decided I wanted to read it. But I think it is a useful poem for the time we live in. Okay, I don't know the title of this poem because he just included the text, but I'm going to try to do it justice here. Evil cannot survive. It cannot find a home inside what is real. It violates, corrupts, destroys, but it can never inhabit this earth. It cannot coexist, so it cannot dwell anywhere. Evil, my dear friend, is an idea that cannot make a life, not in the ocean or the gulls, not anywhere in the sky, not in the tree branches or the fields, not in any of the wild animals or the tame ones or the fish, not in the sunshine on the dew, not even in the pelting rain, no matter how deafening the thunder or how dazzling the lightning. Not in any place that is, its dominion will never resemble a home. Evil plays the role of warden, but wardens do not live in the jail. They put the captured into cells, then they leave. When the warden goes home, or tries to, it is to a place he likes to call his house, perhaps with a tea kettle coming to boil on a stove. And in his house, he can listen to the sound of the kettle as it whistles, and he can try to hear in its shrill scream something that resembles himself. But when gentle hands remove the kettle from the flame, and when then the sound that follows is the sound of water filling up a mug, and then the mug is placed steaming in front of him by his beloved, he is once again a foreigner in a foreign land, not evil sitting there at a little wooden table staring at the floating tea bag, so shockingly alone. Just a stranger in a room. As you fear for your lungs, remember, breathing is commingling. Cohabitation is all there is. In the stillness of each precious breath, remember the homelessness of the enemy who lies vanquished at our feet. Evil cannot cohabitate, so it cannot live in this earth. We'll win. Good's going to win eventually. I just have to believe that. So, until I see y'all again, I hope you are all doing okay during this time. I hope you are staying safe. I hope your loved ones are all safe and healthy. I hope that you are finding peace in some of what you do. I hope if you are on the front lines of this, that you are safe from not just the COVID-19 virus, but from people who might try to be mean to you. I hope the rest of you are staying safe and are being kind whenever possible. So I hope all the best for you. And until I see y'all again, y'all be good to each other. And what, Willie? You gonna get up here and tell them? Take care of each other and what? You gonna tell them? Are you sleepy? Okay. Tell them. Peace out, y'all. Bye. Yes.